Hi students, this is Mr. Liu and I am your 7-minute sensei, where I attempt to tell you everything that you need to know in 7 minutes or less. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about computer hardware. And these are the things that you should know based on Utah Standard 1. This is Strand 1, Standard 1 for exploring computer science. What is a processor or a CPU? Well, the CPU or computer processing unit is considered the brain of a computer. And this chip, this integrated circuit, manages the input and output of the computer. Read on this article here if you'd like to learn a little bit more. What is an operating system? Well, an example of an operating system would be Windows 10 today. But there are many different types of operating systems. If you're looking at mobile devices, you may look at, say for example, this device right here is an older Android device, and Android is a type of operating system, just like iOS would be for an Apple iPhone. Okay, this operating system helps other applications to run on the computer. So if we're using Microsoft Word and we wanted to print something from Microsoft Word, Word would know to use the Windows operating system to send a print job out to the printer. So those are print services are part of or an extension of the operating system. What is RAM? RAM is random access memory, and this is volatile memory because RAM is storing data. But once that computer is turned off, once it is powered down, then you lose everything that is stored temporarily in RAM. What is ROM? ROM is read-only memory. In the case of ROM, this is non-volatile memory. So you power down, everything that's still stored in ROM is still there. In fact, when the chip is manufactured, the program is essentially burned into this chip here. And so it's instructions that are necessary to run the basic operation of the computer or a program. Interesting, another example of ROM is if you think about the old game cartridges and you plug them into whatever game console that you have, and in that cartridge would be the entire game. And so you just plug it in and you're good to go. Hard drive. We've got two different hard drives that we want to talk about. So the hard drive is an HD or HDD, hard disk drive, and the solid state drive or SSD. Now, the solid state drive is a little bit more expensive. It is faster. When you're talking about the older hard drives, those are made of layers of platters that have to spin, and the hard drive is trying to access that information as quickly as possible. Whereas if you're looking at the solid state drive, this is also a non-volatile memory because if you power down, you're still okay. You've got your data stored on the drive. But it is faster, and it's just a little bit more expensive today than the old traditional hard drive. Input-output devices. There are many different input and output devices. If we take a look at this headset here, it happens to be an input and an output device. And the reason why is the headphones right here are an output device. So if we've got music that's playing on our computer, we've got music that is in a digital format that has to be converted to an analog format, as in sound waves. And then when we get this out to the headphone here, it's a converted sound wave, and we as humans can understand that. This is a microphone, though. It's part of this headset, and the microphone is an input device. So if we want to speak into the microphone, it will take our voice, take this sound wave, convert it into a digital format where the computer can understand that, the program can understand that. We've got everything from, if you could take a look and see this mouse here. This mouse is a type of input device. We can send instructions to the computer. And then of course we've got a keyboard, and this standard keyboard here would be another type of input device. The monitor that we are looking at is a type of output device. The printer that we print to is an output device. So if you'd like to read more about this, go ahead and read further. Now we need to just describe something called gigahertz. And this is referring to, the gigahertz is referring to the clock speed, how fast your computer is. On this screen, I also show you a little bit about Moore's Law. Now, Gordon Moore was a co-founder of the company, the chip company called Intel. And he came up with this law. And what he essentially did is he hypothesized that every year, initially he said every year, that the number of transistors on one of these microchips would double, and that the cost would basically come down in half. We're now looking at today about every 18 months, 2 years, that we're seeing a doubling of speed here. So nevertheless, Moore's Law is still considered a truism as far as the cost of computer processing power is coming down, and yet the power itself, the ability of the computer today is just getting faster and faster, more capable. Finally, we're going to talk about kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes. So a kilobyte is 1,000 bytes. 1 byte happens to be 8 bits. So we've got a megabyte. Now a megabyte is 1,000 kilobytes, and a gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes, or 1 billion bytes. Just to give you an idea what we're talking about is size. So one of the test questions you'll likely get is which is larger, a kilobyte or a gigabyte, and clearly it's a gigabyte. To give you some context, we're looking at the typical computer today has about 4 gigabytes of RAM, flash memory, the little SD cards that you might use in a camera today. Those, a 16 gigabyte would hold a lot of photos. And then a DVD movie is anywhere from 4 to 8 gigabytes. So I hope that helps you. Once again, this is Mr. Liu, your 7-Minute Sensei, saying stay home, stay healthy, stay safe. So long, farewell, and peace out.